G'day Aussie Gridiron fans, welcome to the G'day Gridiron podcast, brought to you by the Aussie Gridiron Network. We're back with the breakdown, another breakdown of a division. We have already gone through 4 divisions, both of the Norths and both of the... Well, no, sorry, we've gone through 3. I can't do maths right now. We've done both Norths, we've done AFC West, and we happened to spin last time up NFC West. So that's where we are now. Unfortunately, we don't have Nick with us, which is very unfortunate considering we're doing NFC West. So, Isaac, you're going to have to be the voice of reason for the NFC West. I know I can trust you not to say anything that you shouldn't say about the San Francisco 49ers. Because you wouldn't do that to Nick.
No, obviously not. I'd be partially fair. And just
partially fair.
I love that. Yeah, partially fair.
Just while we're doing the breakdowns, we must tell the listeners that we have broke down Nick. He does support the 49ers, so he is actually injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a 49er, he's injured.
Right.
And the voice of reason for the top team in the NFC West is, of course, Seahawks Brad.
Oh, come on now. Come on now. You had to do that. No.
Super Bowl champ, Seahawk, Brett.
Yeah, thank you. I'll claim the Super Bowl champs.
Yes. Say my title correctly, thank you.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be the closest probably I ever get to a Super Bowl in my lifetime, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm happy to claim that they're the local team, but no, I'm not their number one supporter.
Well, Brad, you are currently wearing your Oregon pajamas,
Yes.
so it's that's as close as you can get to Seattle, Washington, without being in it.
Yeah, I just need my cup of coffee, and yeah, absolutely got my Starbucks here. I'm good to go.
Oh God. Anyway, yes. So we are going to go through, as we did in the others, every team and a bit of a breakdown about that team. And what else did we do? What was the major question we were asking, Brad? What was the one we were asking about the division?
Best case, worst case.
Best case, worst case. Yes.
Yeah.
So we will ask that question of every single team. We're going to try we've been doing free agency halfers for the last couple of weeks. We're going to try and keep to that half-hour mark for this episode. See how we do, to be honest. I don't think we can do it, but we'll see how we go as a trio. I think it would be way more difficult if it was all 4 of us, but we'll see how we go. So we're going to start with the bottom team, the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals, of course, went 3-14 last season. Not just the worst team in the NFC West, one of the worst teams in all of football last season. Made some moves, still make some moves, which can be considered boneheaded. And that's probably about the best way that I can put them. Their luck just really ran out with Kyler Murray. Decided, even though Murray came back, when he came back healthy, that they would continue to run with Jacoby Brissett, and sort of went, he's the way forward for this year, which I think did signal to everybody in and around the league that, hey, we're going to tank this. And I don't know what else I can really say about the Cardinals right now. Brad, what do you think about the Cardinals? Break them down a little bit for us, from your perspective.
Well, they're one of these classic. They're in that awkward NFL phase where the team says they're retooling, but we know it's a full blown rebuild. It's just they're just trying to brand it a little bit nicer. They're pissing on your leg and telling you it's raining, basically. If you think about it, because Murray's gone. Yeah, they bring in Mike LaFleur, so they've got the sacrificial lamb coach. And he'll ride it out for a couple of years, and then they'll get rid of him. They bring in Gardner Minshew as this bridge quarterback, and to be fair, they did make some sensible grown-up moves in free agency. I think they were very measured. They went after the offensive line. They added depth at the running back position, and with bringing in Algier, because you never know Connor with his health and that type of thing. And Algier's used to doing a two-back system. The problem is, basically they raise the floor, but not the ceiling at all. So the ceiling is still very low. So you're not going to get, I don't think, much worse, but you didn't really give yourself any room to get a whole lot better, in my opinion. Last year they finished 3-14, but they're pretty woeful in their scoring and in the points allowed. So they still have a long ways to go on this. And the one, we talked earlier about in one of the previous episodes about guys that are excited or disappointed as a result of the free agency. And if I am wide receiver, number one wide receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. If I'm him, I'm pissed off because I go from having Kyler Murray, who, okay, yeah, he wasn't amazing, but now I've got Gardner Minshew. That would be a little bit of a frustration for me. So, Isaac, does anything with the Cardinals stand out to you?
Not stand out. Excuse me. But I think Jacoby Brissett is still on the roster, so I don't think Gardner Minshew is going to step straight into that.
Right. It's going to be
they basically said that they're going to stick with Brissett.
Oh, did they say they're going to stick with them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
I mean, he did a decent job last year. He's not going to set the world on fire, like you were saying, Brad. They've only just raised their floor. But I said in the free agency harper that come out earlier in the week that I think this is going to be a slow burn type of rebuild. Like they're going to do it slowly over the next couple of years. So it's going to be interesting to see what eventually happens with Trey McBride in the future. One of the top tight ends in the league. What is he going to want to stay for this slow burn rebuild? I'm not too sure, but they're in for another long season. I think, especially in this division that is so strong. Nothing really stands out for me for these guys. I thought they were one of the biggest losers in the free agency period, just because they're doing the slow burn and they haven't really gone out and chased a really big free agent there. So I think it's going to be another difficult season incoming for them.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I think the most intriguing thing about Arizona is what are they going to do with that number 3 draft pick? Again, they're in such need. I would try and trade back from it if you can get any type of value, but it's because if Mendoza goes at number 1, are you really going to take the Alabama quarterback at number 3? No, I don't. Not at all. I don't think
they've
so.
got to go to the trenches. They've got to go to the trenches. There's so many good O-line guys there at the front that they need to build from there.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I have to agree too. They've lost so many guys. It's a massive amount.
They lost a ton.
Yeah, and most of it seemed to be, it was mostly focusing on cap space.
Yes.
And just clearing cap space, which they have around, what was it? They're around 48 million now in cap space. So I think that's what a lot of it was focusing on, was getting rid of guys to clear cap, especially some of their bigger names and their defensive guys, because they did a lot to the defensive line, front seven, which is sort of more cap related. Dalvin Tomlinson, for instance, who they released. And then, obviously, they're going to eat a lot of dead cap because of Kyler Murray, and that's why they sort of probably are sticking with Brissett. But I think you were right in the QB situation there, Brad. Like, you've got 2 career backups in now, basically, in Brissett and Minshew. That's what they are. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
And Brissett did well at the end or through all of last season. But, when you're going into a season with 2 guys who are that, I don't know. Uh,
It'll be interesting to see just how Mike LaFleur does. Younger brother of Matt LaFleur and a disciple of that whole Shanahan system. And I'd be curious to see if he can bring about some change and instill some creativity because they do have some weapons. I mean, you talk about McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. and Wilson, Michael Wilson, the other wide receivers. So they got weapons, and they've got the two running backs now, Algier and Connors, and they've invested in that line. So I think. Are you okay if I go straight to best case, worst case?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for me, I think best case is the absolute best case. They win 7 games. I that's where I see them. I see worst case is because of quarterback play. They're right back here where they started. They've won 2-3 games, and they're competing for again a top 1, 2, or 3 draft pick, and the cycle continues until they can really either get that star quarterback or build up everything around them, a la Detroit.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you there for the best case and worst case scenario. Really, the one shining light for them last year was the emergence of Michael Wilson. He played really well in the wide receiver, but it was when Marvin Harrison was out, so they didn't really show when they were both on the field at the same time that they could share the field. So they're gonna have to work that out this off season. And as you said, best case scenario. I mean, I think 7 games might be a little too high just because of they've got to play the Rams twice, 49ers twice, and the Seahawks twice. So there's 6 games they're potentially losing. So they've got 11 there. I reckon best case scenario maybe around 5.
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the San Francisco 49ers. This was such a hotly contested division as we saw at the end of last season. 12-5 with the 49ers at the end of it. Had a massive amount of issue with injury. Could have been one of the best teams by none in the league, but the injuries really crippled them in every aspect. Is it a coaching fault? Is it because of the substation next to the training ground? We will never know. But yes, they're back now. We've been talking about it through free agency. The fact that they've been making a lot of really, really good depth moves. I think the addition of Mike Evans, even though he says he is just that one piece that they need, I think it's a great depth. We talked about the fact that him as an X receiver, when you get it with those young guys, the young guys like Pearsall that they already have, as long as these guys can stay on the field, Mike Evans can stay healthy. You get 1 year of a healthy Mike Evans. And I think with the best running back in football as well, we've got one hell of a situation and one hell of a year coming up for the San Francisco 49ers. But, Brad, it all hinges on them staying healthy.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah, yeah. They're basically operating as if last year kind of didn't happen. They're just running it back, but they're being a little bit louder, and they're saying our Super Bowl window is now. And so they went out and did a little bit of shopping, and like you say, got Mike Evans, which I think was fantastic. They traded for Osa Odigizua from the Cowboys.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you. It's about the first time I've got it right. And he's good. I mean, he's not great, but he found himself, number 3 on a really talented Cowboys defensive tackle position. But he is a solid starter. So he's going to give him a lot of depth. And like what you said, they're just basically trying to maximize, saying, okay, we've got McCaffrey, we've got Kittle, we're bringing back Fred Warner, we've got Bosa, and we're going to try and make it all work and with it, because now is the time. It's now or never. So, if they are healthy, they become, I think, definitely one of the more dangerous teams. And on any one game, they could beat anybody in the NFC for any one game. Doesn't mean they're going to finish with the best record in the conference, but against any one game, a Kyle Shanahan led team with assuming those guys are healthy, it would be fascinating. I think you got to ask what's going to happen with Ayuk. Are they going to trade him or on the draft? Are they, because clearly they don't want him there. But yeah, so they're an intriguing team. All that said, I still hate him, and Nick, they suck. But anyway, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think the start of their season is going to be the most crucial, because the reason I say that is because Brock Purdy is missing his safety blanket in George Kittle. So I don't think Kittle is coming back for that start. So, yes, they've upgraded at wide receiver, and I totally agree with you guys that they need to stay healthy, but their start of the season is going to be crucial to where they end up. Without George Kittle there, he's essentially the heart and soul of that team, really, isn't he? He runs the culture of what happens there. So, Trent Williams is coming back. Is that confirmed? He isn't retiring. He's not.
Yeah, no, that's my understanding. He is coming back.
Yeah, so that's another big piece that there. So yeah, my thoughts are, I'll jump straight into the best case, worst case scenario is. Best case scenario is they start on fire, everyone stays healthy, and they probably top the division with the pieces that they have. Worst case scenario is like the last two seasons, they get injured and it all falls apart. I mean, everyone who stepped in last year to get them to 13 wins or whatever they ended up on played really well. So you could see them doing that again. Is worst case scenario 13 wins next year? I don't know. But worst case scenario is they're not healthy and they probably get 10 wins.
I've got a best case and worst case scenario from Nick. He says the best case for him, for the Niners, is bulk up in front of Purdy early in the draft and then draft in the secondary. Everything else is drafting for depth. These two areas were some of our healthiest this season, but remain some of our biggest weaknesses. The worst case scenario involves Trent Williams. We again refuse a backup plan for life after Trent Williams, and the O-line remains the biggest weakness on offense.
Yep.
If we can't bulk up our O-line in a division against the Rams and Seahawks front four, we'll finish third again. Not getting the back end right as well adds to that. With JSN and Puka in a division, we will just fall behind the 8 ball, even if healthy. So, great sentiments, great best case, worst case from Nick. And I actually think that sums the 49ers up brilliantly.
Yeah, no, it does very succinctly. It'd be really interesting. One thing I was looking at them found fascinating. They actually have 4 fourth-round draft picks. That's the most of any team that I've ever heard in one round. So, John Lynch will be able to draft his practice squad there. For me, best case is they somehow finish in it with in a tie with the Rams for the division lead and win it on some strange tiebreaker. I think that's the best case. But I think all that being said, just because I think that's the deepest division in the league, they still could be Super Bowl contenders. They could if everything goes right for them. Worst case, injury bug hits, O-line ages out, and you're looking at 8-9 wins.
Do you want to know another interesting stat about the 49ers this year?
Please.
Go. Please.
Their approximate travel kilometres for next season, 61,324 kilometres. They have to travel with a game in Australia and Mexico City. So that's going to be interesting to see how that pans out, really, because that's a lot of travel. A lot of travel.
That is too much. That is yeah. But they willingly put their hand up, I think, for Mexico. So, but
I wouldn't be surprised if they willingly put their hand up for Australia as well.
Yeah. No,
but I did see George Kittle went on a podcast and he was saying how the 49ers look after their team. He he couldn't have spoken highly enough of the 49ers. They give him breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a
Oh,
week.
Brad, where did they
They
come
look
in
after
your
him.
where did they come in your rankings? Those rankings you put together?
The
The 49ers, where did they rank?
Oh yeah,
We should have looked that up, Brad.
I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, you're right. We should have. We definitely should have.
Mm.
That's
So,
interesting. Yeah.
That's something I seen today. He said they really look after their players and their families. They get meals every day, physios 24 hours. It's just crazy.
Oh, Deshaun Watson would love that. You can go get a massage every.
The meals you're talking about, Brad?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Definitely the meals. Definitely, that's exactly what Brad was saying.
Physio, massage on call 24 hours a day.
That's a meal in itself.
Yeah, oh, jeez. Yes.
Oh God. Overall average rank is 12, Brad.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
It
Interesting.
looks like they're getting sort of A's,
That's the
A's to
over-
A minuses across the board.
That's the overall range. I wonder what they got. Like, yeah, with the whole, taking care of players and that type of thing.
Yeah, I'm just having a look now.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. The training staff gets a C minus,
Okay.
as does the training room.
I noticed that was one of the most critical rated categories, though, across the board, across the NFL, was training staff. Like, for whatever reason, players, I don't know if because they just don't like being hurt or what, but I think there's a real lack of trust with training staff.
GM, coach, and ownership all get an A minus.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
So very interesting. Anyway,
that's cool.
Los Angeles Rams. I guess we leave this one up to Isaac. The Rams were so close, so very close from the top step of the podium. Just lost out to a Seattle team who were absolutely dominant at the correct time of year, especially against the Rams in a couple of late season games, one being a playoff game for the NFC Championship. Very, very close, and it looks like we're getting to run back quite a few massive names. We did get to see the emergence of Puka Nacua as not just a player, but one of the craziest personalities in the NFL right now. I think if you read something that seems illogical and just far out from a player, like someone has just been smoking way too much weed, 9 times out of 10, I reckon, you could look at it and go, that's Puka Nacua. Because right now, there are some quotes and some things coming out of things Puka's done in the off-season. Even did he go skydiving? Did I see that as well?
Oh, he wanted to take someone on a skydiving date. Sydney Sweeney, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So anyway, Isaac, let's break down the Los Angeles Rams.
We've addressed one of our biggest needs in free agency by going out and trading for McDuffie. That was our major move of the off season, and I love it because it addresses one of our biggest needs. I don't know if Devontae Adams is going to be too happy. I've heard in some talks that his name was floated around in the AJ Brown trade, like, to bring AJ Brown into Los Angeles, potentially for Devontae. So
I heard a little bit of that today too, actually.
Yeah, so I'm not too sure of how well he's going to receive that, if it's true that's come out. So, so we'll see how that goes. And like you said, we just needed someone to combat JSN, and McDuffie's going to do that. Our next need to go into the draft, it's not high on our draft needs, but we need to shore up those special teams. The good thing about Seattle last year was they were good on all 3 sides of the ball. Defense, offense, and special teams. They were really, really good, which we were really poor on special teams. We need to fix that up in the draft. Somewhere in the later rounds, we need to go out and we need to get special team specific guys to actually come into the team and really shore up those special teams. So at the moment, I'm really happy with where the Rams are sitting in this off season, and looking forward to the season ahead.
I think they're the team to beat. I really do. I think they've stepped up that secondary. Obviously with the McDuffie thing, and the thing is, they still have a first round draft pick. They they're still picking number 13. People forget that. Yeah, they gave up a first round, but they had 2 first round draft picks because of thanks to the Falcons last year being idiots. So hats off to them. And yes, they pushed all in. They doubled down on Stafford, but I don't feel like they gave up the farm, so to speak. It's really, really good, and I love what they're doing. And I didn't hear about the Adams for Brown trade, but that's intriguing. I've heard Brown going to them, and I thought, man, if they could get all 3 of those, that would be ridiculous. And believe it or not, they do have the cap space to do that. So, and they also have Tyler Higbee is going to come back as well. So yeah, they've got a lot of weapons there. And like what you said, Isaac, their defense wasn't that bad. They were good on offense and defense. So no, they would again be my early pick for the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, I was just looking at a lot of their contracts in their cap space. It does amaze me that they've still got Matthew Stafford only on a $16 million a year salary.
Yeah.
Like, his base salary is so small compared to other QBs at his level, if there is anybody at his level right now in the NFL. They get that. The way they work, McDuffie's contract for this season coming in means that they do have quite a large amount of cap space. Even Devontae Adams is only making $18 million as a base salary. And his cap number is only 28. It's so small considering what else happens in the league.
It's a page out of Tom Brady. I don't know why more guys don't do it.
I love the way that they've set it up, though. They've got enough cap space this year to make some moves if they need to, but they've also got so little that they can carry it when they carry it forward. Say if this is Stafford's last season, they don't need to go out into a draft and try and draft a young guy and try and develop him if they don't want to. They're going to have enough room there to go out and take a shot on the best free agent that they can find at the end of the Stafford era and probably keep rolling it back. So, best case, worst case for these guys, for the Rams? Best case, worst case for you, Isaac, as a Rams fan this season?
Well, best case is we shored up our defense, we shore up the special teams, and we go on another 13, 14-win season. Worst case scenario, which is what I am most worried about this season, is Stafford gets injured. What do we have behind him that can step right in and run this offense?
Nothing at the moment. It's Stetson season, baby.
But like you said in your little bit there, Ian, they could just go have a look at the best available free agent out there. As long as it's not a season-ending injury to Stafford, if it happens, they can just go buy a rental for that and for that period and then go on. So that's another thing that's worrying me quite a bit is the backup QB situation.
It's going to be Joe Flacco. They're going to bring in Joe Flacco.
Oh, yeah. Take us to the promised land, Joe.
For me, best case, Super Bowl. They win the Super Bowl. That's the best case. Worst case is what you just said. Stafford gets hurt and they end up winning, 8-9 games.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's best case is you fix that special teams because that was I think if anything else, if it wasn't for special teams last season, the whole season, especially at the back end of the season, is completely different. It all plays out differently. But special teams absolutely killed you in all the crucial big games, especially those couple I mentioned against the Seahawks. Just one of those change and the outcome could be completely different. And that's not even the NFC Championship game. So it's a special teams thing. Fix that problem. You've shored up some stuff on defense. You've added a veteran to a very young, good core. So if you do that, it just gets better from there. That's best case. Worst case, I totally agree with Isaac. What are you going to do if something happens to Matt Stafford? Because he had that injury early last season, and he went into the alien spaceship on the sideline, and he clearly came out with some not human DNA, and managed to put together an MVP season. But can we do that again? Can we run that back again?
Yep.
Do we still have the funds available to get the alien spaceship to land on the field during preseason?
Nah, we'll find a way.
Yeah. We've got to figure that out. All right. The Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. How could we break down the Super Bowl champions? There wasn't a lot that went wrong for the Seattle Seahawks during the 2025 season. There was a lot that went right, very, very right from the outset. From winning games early on that nobody thought that they could do with Sam Darnold. Everyone thought that this was probably just going to be a flash in the pan, even after the Minnesota part of his career. And then they won games. They proved that they had a amazing 1-2 punch at running back. Then we had one of the best wide receivers in the NFL in JSN. It just kept getting better. The defense was phenomenal, especially from mid-season onwards. So, boys, how do we break down the Seattle Seahawks? What do they need to do going forward? Because, of course, we've lost a lot of pieces now, Brad.
Well, they have, but I feel like they kind of acted like the adult in the room, so to speak. They didn't really decide, hey, we're going to sell the farm and go after another Super Bowl this year. They said, we know we're going to take our hits, but we're going to try and keep some key pieces and build around that, and that's what they're doing. They bring back Rashid Shaheed, 3 years, $50 million. They bring back Josh Joby, 3 years, $24 million. So they're trying to keep some of these the core guys intact, but yes, you're going to lose it. Losing what's his name, running back, is
Walker.
Losing Ken Walker is a huge blow, but apparently they're really high on their other running back, Emmanuel Wilson. So they're expecting him to really kind of be able to step in and do some things. So they have enough, depth, and they finish 3 in the offense and 2 in the second in defense. So they're bringing, for the most part, they're bringing a lot of those guys back. Now, what's concerning is that they only have 4 picks in this entire draft. So that's not a lot. And they got to make that 32nd pick count, just in terms of at least a depth piece for them. So there's obviously, when you win the Super Bowl, you're going to have people are going to come after you, and your players are going to be at a premium. So there's no doubt they lost things. But I like the fact that they didn't just sell the farm and go after everything. They said they prioritized, I guess the best way to say it is they prioritized retention over splash.
Yeah. For me, the Seahawks, there's a few that they lost quite a bit of pieces on defense, I believe. I've just been trying to look it up to see who they actually lost. And also, what is the impact of losing Clint Kubiak going to be on offense?
Yeah, that could be the big one. You're exactly right. Yep.
That's going to be one for me. That's going to be, okay, they had a really good season last year on offense. Are they going to be able to do that again? Was JSN just under a good scheme that Clint Kubiak drew up? I don't think so, but Yeah, so that for me, that's going to be interesting to see. I'd love to know. I was just trying to look it up. I haven't got time now. But,
Yeah, so Rick Woolen, Kobe Bryant, Boye Mafe are the three big ones.
Yep.
So cornerback, safety, edge rusher.
Yeah. So and like Brad said, then four picks in a draft is not many. They're going to have to go out and try and get some depth. And even when there's their depth, it's rookie depth. You don't know what they're going to turn into. So, yeah, for me, it's going to be Kubiak on offense. That's where we're going to be looking in the first half of the season.
I think that their defense can withstand losing those guys, even though they are big key pieces. I think they'll have that sorted out because they were quite good across the mid to late season. And I think that doesn't come unless you have depth already. So they will have guys that know the scheme, that can play that way, that can probably still fill in. You might add a few here and there. Like, you've only got 4 draft picks, but you might add a few more after the draft. So undrafted free agents, for instance. My worry for them is actually, yes, they've got JSN, and they did the right thing and gave Rashid Shaheed a new contract, a 3-year deal, quite a big one too, because he is essentially going to be your number 2. But I worry about the depth. They've still got Cooper Kupp, but there's no one behind those 3, and you want extras. Even just for scheme, you want extras. You want depth.
Yeah.
But then there's the problem of injury and how the season goes. I like the fact that they've kept Zach Charbonnet. He was the cheaper of the 2 running backs, I guess. Mm-hmm. They got something for Kenneth Walker. Great. Or not really, but they got something out of him, I should say. But you keep Charbonnet. Brad's right. Emmanuel Wilson was quite good, so hopefully he does step up and they continue to have that 1-2 punch. But that was more of a Kubiak scheme and the way he plays and the way he structures his offense. So there is that. I really think that they need to do something with the tight end room. I don't think AJ Barner and Elijah Arroyo are it for the tight end rooms. I don't think either of them neither play a traditional tight end role and neither play sort of the new school pass catcher role. They're kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can do that. You need to have one or the other or one of each, as many other teams have proven. The Rams especially, who love 13 team, for instance, 13 personnel so often last season, and having 2 tight ends on the field because they had one guy that can catch and one guy that can block so consistently. And I just don't think that either of these guys can do that. So I worry a little bit about their depth in their skill positions on offense. Their O-line I love, and I think that they did such an amazing job last year in front of Sam Darnold that they're only going to grow and everyone's going to move together. So there's a lot of worry for me just in terms of that it's so hard to run it back in the NFL. It's so hard to go again. There's not many teams and not many franchises over all the years that have gone back to the Super Bowl twice, even 1-2 Super Bowls in a row, 3, etc. The Chiefs managed to get there many times, but not win a lot of them back-to-back. You know, they won 2 back-to-back. The third was always going to be hard. It was going to be impossible nearly. So I worry about that. And the big part, the other one for me, is actually just quarterback. And it's not Sam Darnold. It's 2 and 3. What happens if Sam Darnold gets hurt? I don't know if you can trust Drew Lock, and we haven't ever seen much out of Jalen Milroe.
Yep.
So
they're high on Milroe. You're so I think the key is going to be can he take that step into that second season? And preseason will tell. We'll see.
He plays so differently though to what they've set themselves up with Sam Darnold.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. You're right.
I wonder what is in some franchises' brains and some GMs' brains when they do that.
That's a very good point.
To me, it's like we all laugh at ending up with 2 left-handed quarterbacks at the Falcons now when Tua goes there with Penix.
That's not an accident.
But that's not an accident. That's right. Because you're setting your offense up for a left-handed quarterback. Yep. So if one goes down, you need another one because you can't just have them swap sides. You can, but it's hard to do mid-game. So it's the same thing. Like, you get a thrower in Sam Darnold, and Milroe's known more for his legs. Are we just giving up on the pass at that point when we've got JSN? That doesn't make any sense to me. So
Yeah.
but maybe
So
that's where Drew Lock comes in.
Oh, is that me or is that?
No, go for it.
I think the internet gremlins got him again. So
I'm good. Go.
No, we're all
oh
good.
no, we're all okay. It just broke up on me.
We're waiting on you, Brad.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's pretty normal for them. I'm gonna go best case, worst case. Best case, they're right back Super Bowl contention. That's where I see them. Worst case is those guys that they did lose have a much bigger impact just on the culture and what have you, and they have a Super Bowl hangover, so to speak. And Kubiak, I think Kubiak, Isaac mentioned that, but Kubiak, losing him could be a huge thing. And that offense could get a little bit stale, and then you're looking at, okay, well, they're winning around 10 games, and they're probably the 6 or even the 7 seed to come into that playoffs, and they can't get out of the divisional round.
Best case is always Super Bowl. It's the best case for the Super Bowl champions is another Super Bowl.
Yep.
Worst case for them is that division.
Your point of getting out of the division is going to be tough.
Getting out of division is probably the hardest thing. You have to get out of division, and that's the toughest thing when you're in the hardest division in football.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, in their best case scenario for the Super Bowl champs is going back to the Super Bowl. Worst case scenario is like you both said, Kubiak is a bigger factor than what we first thought. We all praised Mike McDonald last year, saying it was all him. It may be all Clint Kubiak on offense. So they may win their 7 or 8 games and not even make the playoff. So that's worst case scenario for me. A little side note, if you're in the fantasy world, Torrey Horton, who is on the Seahawks, I reckon he's going to have a breakout year this year. So
Okay.
I like that part of their depth in the wide receiver room.
I like it.
There you go. All right. NFC West done and dusted, broken down. I'm going to bring up the free agency spinner.
Oh,
Check out these chromies.
Here
All right.
we go.
In that bottle, baby.
All right. Let's spin her up and see what we're doing next week or next show.
And the winner is
It is
NFC South.
Now, boys, I have a question to ask. Do we do back-to-back division breakdowns so we can catch up before? So we've got enough time. I think we should, so we give ourselves more breathing space before the draft.
Yeah.
So do we go for another spin right now?
Yeah. Spin that bottle, baby.
Right.
Do it.
NFC South is gone. So we got NFC South is the very next one you're going to hear. Who's after that? Here we go. Oh, it's the NFCs.
Oh,
NFC East.
the
Beautiful.
best division in football.
Oh, we just talked about the West.
The best division in the UFL. Awesome.
Screw you.
All right, so next week you will hear NFC East. No, we're going to do South first. We're going to do NFC South. Get it out of the way. We'll talk everything Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then we will talk NFC East. So we're going to go for back-to-back shows next week. 2 division breakdowns. Catch ourselves up. We might do, if it goes well enough, we might do 2 the week after so we can really get these over and done with. But that's where we're at. So if you want to follow along, Academy Gridiron, absolutely everywhere. Linktree/Aussie Gridiron Network will get you all the links to the rest of the AGN stable. The Fantasy Boys have got to be back soon. So hit them up on their pages, at the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show, and just keep asking, "Hey Taylor, when are we coming back? Hey Maddie, when are we coming back?" Because we got to get some love. Manjot's been doing some great work on Pastry Press NFL on Instagram, so make sure you check that out. Till next week, division previews or breakdowns again. See you later.
Go Ducks.